Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the February 26th edition of Carolina Week, UNC students danced all night and all day during Carolina's biggest marathon fundraiser.
I'm Andrew Gordon. Coming up, I'll show you the spots on campus most prone to bicycle theft.
In sports, the Lady Tar Heels stormed into Cameron Indoor with revenge on their minds.
Mallory Nichols will have your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and some UNC stunt people. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Alex Villarreal.
And I'm Jessica Floyd. Thanks for joining us.
UNC students are used to being on their feet for a basketball game, but how many of us would actually volunteer to stand for 24 hours straight? Bill Clayton was there for the draining but rewarding dance marathon.
Students packed into Fetzer Gym on Friday night to begin the 9th annual UNC Dance Marathon. Dance Marathon is the culmination of a year-long fundraising effort benefiting the North Carolina Children's Hospital. The marathon is the largest student-run philanthropy event on campus and has achieved some amazing milestones since it began 9 years ago.
UNC students like these have helped raise more than $1 million since Dance Marathon began in 1999. All that money goes to help treat more than 72,000 children at the North Carolina Children's Hospital every year.
The 24-hour event has only one rule: you can't sit down. Students played games, sang, and danced to show their support for the children and families of the North Carolina Children's Hospital. This was UNC senior Justin Savesky's third marathon, and he says he keeps coming back for one reason.
Every time, it's so rewarding. It's tough at times, it really is, but at the end of the day, when everything's all said and done, it's just a great feeling, and it's nice to know that you've helped out so many families.
Students received a special visit from some of the children and families who've benefited from Dance Marathon fundraising. Parents told their stories and offered their thanks to UNC students.
What you have done, what you are doing, truly makes a difference.
We just had the challenge of facing the reality that our babies may not come home with us. The dedication and the love and compassion that we found at UNC. They never gave up on us, and they never gave up on our girls.
You know, it's very inspirational as a parent and as a father to see so many young people so actively involved in trying to raise money to help children out, just like these two right here.
Students cheered as the marathon drew to a close. The total amount raised by this year's dance marathon was more than $236,000. In Chapel Hill, I'm Bill Clayton, Carolina Week.
From dancing all night to sitting all day, one group of students is pit sitting for National Eating Disorders Awareness Week. Students helping to achieve positive esteem, or SHAPE, is gearing up for a week of events. The group plans to educate students about how to help friends with eating disorders and also to promote positive self-image. Every day this week, members of SHAPE will hand out flyers for nightly events and answer questions. Events kick off tonight with a celebration of everybody.
Tickets to the Duke-Carolina basketball game are in high demand, and officials want to make sure UNC seniors and graduating grad students get first dibs. So for this big game, students can't print tickets, but instead must show up in person at the Dean Smith Center. They must present 2 valid Senior One cards to retrieve their Duke tickets. Although tickets are a little harder to get, most seniors don't mind the extra effort as long as it gets them into the game.
It's something that you wait all your career at Carolina for, and if it's just one more way to make sure that it's seniors who get the privilege, it's not that big of a deal.
Seniors with last names beginning with A through L can pick up their tickets today. M through Z pickup is tomorrow, and all those who couldn't make it Monday or Tuesday have one more chance on Wednesday.
UNC's Keenan Flagler Business School always ranks among the top B schools in the country, but you wouldn't know it by reading the latest edition of Fortune magazine. Each year, Fortune lists the nation's top 50 best business schools. This year, Duke came in at number 7, NC State was 25th, and Wake Forest snuck in at number 49. Well, where's Keenan Flagler, you may ask? Well, not on the list. Fortune says the company that compiled it forgot to include UNC Chapel Hill. The magazine insists the Keenan Flagler Business School will be on next year's list.
There's still sadness on campus a year after 2 UNC students crashed through a dorm window and fell 3 stories. One student didn't survive.
The worst thing I've ever gone through in my whole life. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
1 year ago, yellow tape surrounded the area where 2 UNC students, Tyler Downey and Keith Sean Smith, fell through a 3rd-floor window of Stacy Dormitory. Downey survived the accident, and although Smith did not, his legacy as a resident assistant in Stacy Dorm will always be remembered.
Especially his residence on the 3rd floor. Like, I really feel like he totally left a legacy for them, and he had known them 6 months. Like, that's huge. Not many people can say that they can meet somebody for 6 months and really impact their life.
L'Oreal Neal knew Smith better than anyone else. She is now an RA in Craig Dormitory. Even now, she smiles when she thinks about him. Neal and Smith were high school sweethearts. She says Smith inspired her.
A lot of things that I used to pick on him about, I now admire about him so much. Like, he used to post things on the wall like 3.5 GPA or get your head up or like just weird stuff. And I'd be like, why are you doing that? And now, like, I find myself posting notes for me to like encourage me.
Neal says family, friends, and her faith have helped her get through the past year. Despite all the support, Neal says she feels alone sometimes.
Since I've been going through this, I've really realized that I'm the type of person who wants to talk about it. I want to know that people still remember Keith. I want to know that people still care.
You can show how much you care by attending a memorial program for Keith Sean Smith tonight at 7 p.m. in the Union Auditorium. To find out how to donate to the Keith Sean Smith Memorial Fund, visit our website, carolinaweek.org. Since the accident at Stacy Dorm, UNC officials have worked hard to implement new safety measures for buildings across campus. Student housing officials have installed these rails in about 100 windows across campus. The windows, like the ones in Stacy, have seals less than 3 feet off the floor. The new regulation affects about 40 buildings in UNC. Assistant Director of Housing Rick Bradley says the railings represent an increased emphasis on student safety 1 year after the tragedy.
The buildings and the windows meet current code standards. It's the attempts that we're taking is to go beyond that and to make them as safe as possible.
Bradley says workers are currently installing 9 other railings and 10 more are on order.
The man in charge of keeping UNC safe is leaving Chapel Hill and taking his expertise to the national level. John Pope joins us live from the Department of Public Safety with the story. Well, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties, but we should be getting that package rolling for you in just a second.
Is retiring to take a new job in Homeland Security with the FCC.
Derek Porch came to UNC in 1998 to be Director of Public Safety. Since that time, the campus has seen a 35% drop in crime. Awards and degrees hang on his office wall commending him for 30 years of service in law enforcement. But Porch will retire from the DPS at the end of March, and he'll be moving up to a federal agency.
It's time to move on. The department's in good shape. I'm eligible to retire. There are good people here within the organization, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter.
Porch begins his new job on April 1st.
So John, what exactly will Porch be doing for the FCC?
Well, Alex, he's the new Bureau Chief for Public Safety and Homeland Security for the FCC. There he'll be unifying all 911 communications and managing, obviously, public safety, Homeland Security, but also disaster management and disaster planning.
John Pope reporting from DPS headquarters. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Alex.
Well, it certainly sounds like there are going to be a lot of changes around here. When we come back,
we will show you how you can help clamp down on bike theft.
To a child, a little of your time can make a lifetime of difference. That's why the Greenville Family Partnership sponsored a hike, because kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
Standing right in front of them.
Whether you're a good storyteller or a good listener, you can help. To find out about community drug prevention programs, call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
Hey man, what's up?
Not a whole lot, man. Just waiting on the bus. How about you?
But you got your bike.
Yeah, so?
How you can do that?
Oh, you can put your bike on the bus. It's easy. I'll show you how.
Oh.
First, pull the rack down. Then, just lift your bike and place the tires in the rack. Finally, lift the lever and snap it into place to hold your bike securely. Chapel Hill Transit, working for you.
On a large college campus like this one, bicycles are a popular mode of transportation. But Carolina Week's Andrew Gordon wants you to know just how easily your bike could vanish.
When riding your bike on or near campus this year, there's one statistic you probably want to keep in mind. According to a recent report by the UNC Department of Public Safety, thieves stole 120 bikes from 65 different locations across campus in 2006. I'm standing at the bike racks behind Manning Hall. Now, this was one of the leading sites for bike theft on campus in 2006. DPS believes that heavily trafficked areas like this make it easier for potential bike thieves to go unnoticed. Other leading sites for bike theft last year included the Mary Ellen Jones Building and NROTC Building with 5, Carmichael Craig and Ehringhaus Residence Halls with 4, and Haynes Art Center in Manning Hall also with 4. Despite the high number of thefts, UNC bicyclists haven't been deterred.
No, normally I'm not that afraid of it. It's a very recognizable bike. Could tell who has it.
No, not real nervous. A bike's not very expensive, so I guess that probably contributes to it. But I've never had a problem, and I don't know anybody that has.
However, DPS spokesperson Randy Young has a better grasp on the threat and encourages bicyclists to be very cautious.
We've seen a rise in the number of bicyclists on campus to the benefit of campus economy and ecology. But that being said, certainly there are more targets for larcenies that are out there, and we ask that folks use diligence and vigilance in utilizing bikes here on campus.
In an effort to crack down on bike theft, DPS has instituted a mandatory bicycle registration system and deployed bicycle cops who should have a quicker response time to certain campus crimes, including bike theft. In Chapel Hill, I'm Andrew Gordon, Carolina Week.
DPS offered these tips to help you avoid bike theft. You should use a U-shaped bike lock made by a reputable manufacturer and attach the lock to a solid frame bar on the bike, not to the wheels. You should lock your bike to a designated campus bike rack only. Never leave your bike unattended while it's unlocked, even for a moment. And DPS urges you to report any suspicious activity immediately. North Carolina might be known as
tobacco country now, but many legislators want to change that with a ban on smoking in public places. Ban supporters want more signs like this one in bars and restaurants, but many smokers say despite the health risks linked to tobacco smoke, they should still be able to smoke in bars. Non-smoking bars, such as Milltown, are rare in Chapel Hill. Amanda Stevens is a bartender here, and she says she prefers working in a smoke-free environment.
I think it makes your diners happier, and I think you leave work smelling better and don't have to worry about secondhand smoke and emptying ashtrays, which are really filthy.
The bill will make its way to committee in 2 weeks. From there, it could move on to the House. Smoke-free legislation is already passed in Florida, Colorado, and New York.
The American Medical Association recently asked the FDA to remove sodium from its list of food additives generally recognized as safe. Although the FDA isn't calling salt unsafe, the agency does suggest that you keep your salt intake below 2,300 milligrams a day. That can be hard to do when more and more Americans are eating salt-packed convenience foods. These Wendy's French fries contain almost 1/4 of your daily recommended salt intake. And this Panera Bread Sierra turkey sandwich contains more than enough salt for the entire day. All that salt can lead to health problems such as gastric cancer, high blood pressure, and bone loss in women.
UNC has many co-ed dorms and even co-ed floors, but what about co-ed rooms? Many colleges already offer mixed-gender dorm rooms, but it's not yet an option here at UNC. At most of these other schools, the system is based on an agreement between both parties, not random assignment. They also discourage couples from shacking up. RHA President Denny Lyons says the co-ed-friendly option could be positive.
And weathercaster Mallory Nichols is here with us today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So Mallory, I noticed it was getting pretty much a lot warmer today.
It was really nice today, a nice change from what we saw on Sunday. If you were outside today, you would have loved the spring-like conditions. However, will this robin need to seek shelter from rain toward the end of the week? I'll let you know when we come back.
Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, King of the Apes, Father of Boy. He knows what it takes to be a dad. You go for a ride, you take a swim, you hang out. All it takes is time. Hey, it doesn't take a hero, but it takes a man to be a dad. There is really only one boy. One girl, one tree, one forest, one ocean, one mountain, one sky, and one simple way to care for it all. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together under one name, Earthshare. One environment, one simple way to care for it.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Mallory Nichols. If you were sick of being cooped up on Sunday with all the rain that we had, the good news is that for the next few days, the temperatures are going to be seasonable, which means that they're going to be pretty average for this time of year as we transition from the winter months to the spring months. As well as the next few days, we'll be seeing a little more drier weather, but then we should keep an eye on Thursday night and Friday morning because there's a possibility of some rain moving in and a chance of thunderstorms Thursday night and Friday morning. If you go to the radar and satellite, you'll see right now we're covered with a little bit of clouds right now, and then out west we see a little bit more. As those start to push east Monday night, we'll see a possibility of those clouds covering the triangle area, but for the most part those are going to move a little bit to the north of us, which means that we won't be seeing any of the rain that you're seeing right now a little bit to the northwest of us. If we take a closer look, you'll see triangle area is pretty covered with some clouds right now, but then out west you see that it's starting to clear up a little bit more, and then over a little bit farther, those will start to push north. So as we move into Monday night, those clouds will clear out, so it's going to be a pretty clear evening tomorrow or tonight and tomorrow morning. If we go to the current satellite, you'll see there was a low pressure system right here that pushed out east that affected us on Sunday, which is what brought the majority of the rain. But then we have this high pressure system out west that's going to start to dry the air and make it a little bit warmer than we have been over the last few days. The winds, however, are going to start to circulate over a high pressure system clockwise. So right now, as where it sits, it's going to be going clockwise over us, and the winds will be coming in from the west, which means it'll be a little bit warmer for the next few days. But if we go to Tuesday, you'll see that high pressure system sits a little bit to the north, so as the winds go around, they'll be coming in from the north, which will drop the temperatures only a couple of degrees, but don't worry, still not cold as we have seen in the past. If we go to Wednesday, you'll see that that high pressure system has moved out. We'll be seeing drier temperatures or drier weather on Tuesday and Wednesday, and even the beginning of Thursday, but we do have this low pressure system sitting out west that's going to start to push in. It won't drop our temperatures as far as this week is concerned, but we will be seeing a little bit of rain associated with that and some possible thunderstorms. If we go to the 4-day forecast, you'll see that Tuesday we'll have pretty sunny skies. As far as Wednesday, the clouds will start to pick up, but then on Thursday, the rain will start to move in, and Friday we'll be seeing a little more clouds as well. The temperatures are going to be pretty warm with the upper 50s and lower 60s, and then lowers down into the 30s, and then on Friday we'll be seeing higher temperatures for the low.
So I think we're all glad to see that the warmer temperatures are coming in, but make sure we have our umbrellas ready for Thursday?
For Thursday, you want to keep them handy.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Mallory.
Sounds good. Sportscaster Brandon Curry is here to tell us about sports. Brandon, tough weekend for basketball.
Don't get me started. Oh, it was a tough weekend to be a Tar Heel basketball fan. But coming up in sports, we have the highlights from last night's meeting between UNC and Maryland. We'll show you why the Tar Heels had plenty of reasons to fear the Turtle.
My name's Lisa, and in 9 years I'll be an alcoholic.
Hi, Lisa.
I'll start drinking in 8th grade, and I'll do some things I don't really want to do. So by the time my parents talk to me about it, alcohol won't be my only problem.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
My parents won't believe it could happen to me.
200 years ago, Lewis and Clark set out to discover an all-water route to the Pacific. But what they really discovered were 58 hospitable nations who could have ended their journey at any time, but saved it instead. As we commemorate their bicentennial, we invite you to walk with them at lewisandclark200.org and see what you discover, because their trail winds through us all.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Brandon Curry, reminding Maryland and all those other schools that when you win, you storm the court. When we win, we yawn and eat a sandwich. There would be no impact on the conference tournament seedings and probably no effect on the national standings, win or lose. But anytime Carolina plays Duke, especially in basketball, it's a big game.
When Duke and North Carolina meet, you never can tell what to expect. But one thing you can always count on is a fight. The undefeated Devils cruised to a 7-point lead early in the first half. This certainly helped. The Blue Devils converted Carolina turnovers into Duke twos. The Tar Heels came clawing back in the second half, using defensive stops like this and taking advantage of fast break opportunities like this. Junior Erlana Larkins dominated the glass, pulling down a career-high 19 boards. Later in the second, with the Heels within 1, Abby Wayner extends the Duke lead to 3. The Devils sealed the deal from the line, stealing any hope of a Carolina victory.
They're definitely better than anybody expected.
Better than ever before.
And just completed the first undefeated home season in school history.
With a Sunday 67-62 win, the Blue Devils are perched at the top. But Coach Sylvia Hatcher says don't count out the Heels just yet.
Maybe that light just hadn't come on yet. And if that light comes on, then look out.
In Durham, I'm Deshaun Brown, Carolina Week Sports.
The men's team went a little farther up the road. The Heels faced off against the Maryland Terrapins, looking to hold on to first place in the ACC. Wayne Ellington found his touch early, draining a couple of threes, and this basket right here by Thompson put the Heels up by 13, but Maryland fought back strong on the boards. The Terps trailed by only 3 at the half. Carolina's big men came out strong in the second, but Maryland wouldn't give up, taking the lead right here. With time running out, Carolina had the ball in their hands, but Brandon Wright couldn't finish. Maryland stuns Carolina 89-87. The undefeated UNC baseball team continued its winning ways during a 3-game series against Stony Brook this weekend. The Heels dominated the Seawolves in the opening game on Friday. Senior pitcher Robert Woodard allowed only 3 hits and 1 run in 6 innings. He becomes just the 5th pitcher in Tar Heel history to reach 25 career wins. At the plate, the Heels notched 12 hits against the Seawolves pitching staff. Junior left fielder Reed Frank had 4 hits, including this 2-run homer in the 6th inning. Carolina wins 9-1. And Saturday, it was a doubleheader, and the Seawolves acted more like sea puppies. The Heels showed excellent base stealing and field work with not 1, but 2 double plays in the first game alone. Here's one of them right now. Freshman outfielder Tim Fredoff went 4 for 6 and hit this career home run during game 1. His first career home run. The Heels outscored the Seawolves 17-4 in a doubleheader sweep. Friday, the women's lacrosse team welcomed the less than mighty Oregon Ducks. It was a long night for the Ducks. Number 28 right here, Jess Allen, putting it in for the first goal of the night. Next up, it's Meg Freshwater, who with precision passing Christina Drass, who puts it in. She had 2 for the night. Oregon was only able to put 1 in during the first half, and here it is, and they are excited. But this is my favorite play right here, the favorite play of the night. The Heels showing why they're number 1. Jen Russell blazes past everyone and scores right here. That goal took 10 seconds. Heels win 16-4. On Saturday, the men's lacrosse team looked to win its first home game of the regular season, taking on the University of Denver. Here's Ben Hunt turning on the Jets to get around that defender, shoots, and gets the goal. I got some more moves to show you. Michael Burns weaving through defenders for another goal. And then just a few minutes later, Ryan Walterhofer gets a breakaway, charges downfield, fires, boom, another goal. The Heels survived a pioneer comeback in the third quarter to win 11-8. And attacker Matthias McCall says the Heels are used to clutch wins. You know, guys, it's disappointing to lose in basketball when you're dominating in lacrosse and baseball. Not too bad.
Yeah, but hopefully, I mean, good thing we have some of the season left, right?
Definitely.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. Okay, so Jess, you know, we've all seen those movie stunts that make us stop and go, okay, whoa, wait a second, how do they do that?
Yeah, we have. And guess what? We have our own stunt people right here at UNC.
Coming up, we'll show you a few UNC students who have all the right moves.
Mother taught me. She's
averaging 18%. Balance the budget. Increasing clouds for...
UNC TV. Your remote stops here.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Action movie star Jet Li can scale walls like he's Superman, but he does have some special effects help.
Will Hellman introduces us to some UNC students who don't need Hollywood to pull off some pretty impressive stunts.
The essence of parkour is best explained by enthusiast Duncan Germain.
And the idea behind it is to be able to move in whatever situation arises. So we'll go to one wall and train one technique 1,000 times, but the idea behind it is always to be able to take that technique elsewhere, to be able to use that anywhere, and we train it over and over and over again until it becomes second nature.
Parkour's moves include wall climbs, that's a 13-foot wall, kicking off of walls, called tic-tacking, grabbing ledges when jumping, called cat leaps, and precision jumping. These moves combine into runs like these. But parkour isn't just stunts. Germain says its philosophy runs deep.
It's not just moving. It's being able to move, it's being able to stand still, it's being strong, it's being fast. And the philosophy behind it, again, is to help people, ultimately. And the idea is that by being physically strong in every way you can possibly think of, you'll be able to help people more and more in all walks of life.
Parkour may be a lot of fun, but are its practitioners and the people around them safe in public spaces like the pit? Department of Public Safety spokesman Randy Young says that care is key.
If it's something that we think poses an imminent threat to their personal security, certainly we'd intervene and try and speak to them.
Germain says he recognizes the need for safety.
If you're training around other people, they are your first priority, period. If somebody else gets hurt because you were training, there's no question whose responsibility that is.
Germain and others say they want more involvement. They encourage you to talk to them about it. For more information about parkour, visit our website at carolinaweek.org. From the pit, I'm Will Hallman, Carolina Week.
So yeah, I can do all that stuff too.
Yeah. Maybe if we do enough Pilates, that'll help us out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for watching. Good night.